3, 2, 1, off you go, wave one, cobblers.
Okay. What? This is torture. Oh, sweet death. Embrace. Embrace me. Hey, EVC here. Do I even make videos anymore? Well, here we go. We're back with a video. This is my first gravel event of the year, the Rock Cobbler in Bakersfield, California. We're going to break down the course real quick. So Sector 1, the first 13 miles, this is where you're breathing through your butthole. This is where I am side by side with a world champion, a national champion, a world tour pro. It's full gas. Sector 2 is where personally I brought the wrong bike. This is where it was very technical, single track, super fast, extremely fun, but much more for like a mountain bike. Sector 3, more of this, please. I mean, just beautiful roads through like orange orchards, not super difficult. It was great. Then you move on to Sector 4, which is, for me, I brought the right bike. Huge, long, sustained climb on not very technical of a trail, followed by some big road downhill. Then Sector 5 is where I'm thinking about life choices, just kind of rolling around by myself in the middle of nowhere, thinking about why I do this to myself. Then you move on to Sector 6, which is the final little bit, has some serious hike-a-bike, but also undoubtedly the funnest part of the course. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit more about why I rode a road bike later on in the video, but I rode a road bike. The only difference between this and my crit bike were the tires. The double cross IRC 33s, I ran those on the Cadex gravel wheels. The knobbies were probably a little too knobby, to be honest. I wish I had gone with a file tread. I did run mountain bike pedals and mountain bike shoes because there was multiple hike-a-bike sections. I was running the Oval 44 rotor front ring and then an 1146 in the rear. So I had the gearing. I really feel comfortable with this bike. I enjoyed this bike. And to be honest, I felt like this was the right decision for me. I would run this again. I was happy. All right, so let's jump into Sector 1, 0 to 13 miles. Now, the first 5 or 6 miles was actually on like a bike path, very flat, great warm up into what, the day had in store. And so, to be honest, though, when I look back on this, my bike setup is pure road, right? That's where it's fast. I should have probably jumped off the front because it got a little spicy here and there, but for the most part, guys were just noodling and waiting for the first gravel bit. And so, I should have gotten a little bit of time before the fireworks absolutely just went off because, boy, this race started fast. Now, the hitters were absolutely here for the first gravel event of the year in Bakersfield. I mean, I'm riding next to Christopher Blevins, no asterisk, not U23, not Masters, your current mountain bike world champion. What is he doing in Bakersfield? Why is he here? This is insane. I'm right next to him. So other names to mention, which are so many, but so definitely Christopher Blevins, right? World freaking champion. Then you have Peter Stetina, who's a monster and looking very beautiful, might I add.
You are so beautiful.
Then you have Jonathan Baker, cyclocross national champion, Phil Tisman, national champion, and then John, who's a 2019, 2018, 2021 gravel world champion. So hitters. I also want to say that Jonathan Baker, I call him Mustache Man, is just a great human, and he got inspired and went out and redid the Mauna Kea Impossible route, blew the time out of the water, and that was just really cool to see someone actually go and recreate that route of such a high status. So we are about to hit the first gravel section, And I know that I haven't posted in a long time, but after December, when I trained like a pro, I have taken my fitness extremely seriously. At the end of December, I was able to clock out a 362 watt FTP at 155 pounds. I am flying right now. I am rolling. And so we just did team camp. I'm feeling as spunky and as confident as anyone could ever feel. And even with that, we hit this first set of climbs and I am breathing through my butthole. It is so very difficult because this isn't my jam. 600 watts, not my jam. But I am doing this kind of power next to the current mountain bike world champion, Christopher Blevins. I've got national champions in front of me like Jonathan Baker and Phil Tisman and all Peter Stetina. I mean, I am with the hitters. And so even though this is like very difficult, I am having the time of my life. Like it's very fun. Now, the website for this event said this is not a race. Okay. But upon further inspection, it clearly is a race.
What the hell are you talking about?
Now, I really want top 10. I actually came into this thinking that it might be possible to get top 3 until I saw who was registered. But so, again, I'm too confident in where my fitness currently is, and I'm feeling too good at the moment, right? So we're going to just go as hard as we can, and hopefully I'll make the second group on the road because, dude, it's splintered so very fast, right? There's just ones and twos all over this mountain within the first 2 or 3 miles of the first gravel bit. I mean, to give you some sort of context, I averaged 5 watts per kilo for the first 12 or maybe even 15 minutes, and that's with the downhills. Right. So, and that got me group 3 on the road. I mean, it was just like for the first event of the year, guys were flying. Now, the event promoter put on these descents, and there's only one way he's thinking.
I guess you just have to be prepared to die.
And so I am flying down these descents on my Canyon, on my road bike. We check in with my road bike to see what she's doing. Now we get into some of the little more technical stuff. We're still in Sector 1, right? Okay, but it's spread out across the road. This isn't a road, but you know what I'm saying. I'm here. I want to be there. And so we need to open up a full basket of berries and try to catch these guys because I know that I am going to lose all the time on the descent. Okay, I chose a road bike so it's fast, it's light. If we're climbing, I have an advantage. To be honest, some of these guys on the mountain bikes probably were doing an extra 100 watts, maybe 50 to 100 watts more than I was, just because the bike was so efficient and so fast. So we are just going and we're going and we're going. We're trying to catch back on, and it's so bumpy, right? But I am having so much fun. And I'm going to talk about this a whole lot, about how amazing this course was and how dynamic it raced, and that no matter what bike you brought, you had the right bike at a certain point. And so I catched onto this group. I'm so stoked. I'm feeling the love.
Good job, boys.
Now, dude almost takes me out, but I don't care. It's totally fine. He's on a mountain bike. I'm not going to fight for him on that. Like, this guy's going to fly through this section. And this is the I brought the wrong bike part. But no matter what bike you brought, you will have said at one point, I brought the wrong bike. Now, I will say that if I could have ran my Grail, I would have. But the bike industry has 3 spokes and a pedal in stock, and I could not get the components to get my Grail running. So it was either this or my mountain bike. And I did bring my Lux thinking maybe, I don't know, we'll see. But in pre-riding part, I don't even think it was part of the course. It was, anyways, I pre-rode a little bit the day before, and I felt like this was actually totally the way to go. And now I ride a lot of dirt on my road bike, so I felt very comfortable. And I don't think I would have gone any faster on a mountain bike, really on the downhills, like maybe, but I'm getting passed left and right, to be expected. Okay. I fully understand that I'm going to get passed on some of this real technical stuff. What I'm looking to do is to make up time on some of the bigger climbs, but this is where it gets really bad. My bottle cages are road cages. And so I've been dropping bottles all day, and I have to have those bottles. And this is a very, like, spoiler in the future. I needed better bottle cages because liquid calories is the only way I operate. And so if I lose a bottle, I will blow into pieces. I have to have them. So until this point, I've actually dropped my bottles twice and had to go back and get them. And so I'm really freaking out about that, actually, on that my bottles are not staying in the cages. And so, it is what it is. That's a problem for future me to deal with. But dude, how beautiful is this? If you thought, hey, I'm going to go ride in Bakersfield. Right? I mean, that's not, I didn't think of this. We finally get off some of that single track and we head onto some real fast dirt. Now, right around here was actually the first rest stop, but we were full gas racing at this point. So there's no reason to stop. And so then this is Brian McCullough. He won BWR, I think 2018. Super cool guy and he's very fast. And he's like giving me all this encouragement. Like, come on, dude, we can catch, we can go. And I am feeling on top of the moon. Okay, but I am finishing my bottle of Flow Formulas, which has 300 grams, 300 calories, 100 grams of carbs. I'm so dialed with my hydration and fueling program, as long as my bottles stay in my freaking cages. And so at this point, I'm feeling so belonging. That's a word, right? Like I've put in so much work into training. I feel so confident. Right now we are flying. I mean, the watts are just insanity. And I still feel very confident with where I am. The group up the road is not too far away. And so Brian is just on the front. He's drilling it. I came by a couple times to like help pull, just to let him know, I'm not here to just suck wheel all day. Like I'm here to race. I'm here to do the business. And so then we catch a couple guys. This dude turns into a legend later on in the day. But again, we are, not that far into the race. And we have just been sustaining 400 watts nonstop to be trying to catch the second group on the road. So I don't even understand how Stetna and Blevins and John up the road, what are they doing? They're doing 7 watts per kilo up this stuff. And so then now we start to hit this descent and it is so very bumpy. And I am thinking right now, bro, I'm going to lose my bottles. I'm going to lose my bottles. Hopefully it's just one. And then they yeeted themselves. That's 600 calories and 200 grams of carbs. That for me is 2 hours of fuel. Is gone.
You're screwed.
I guess I could have turned around, but we were going so fast and dude, I'm okay right now as long as there's a rest stop very shortly, which there wasn't. There wasn't a rest stop very shortly. We are going to get back on. He gives me a thumbs up. He gives me the A-OK, and I'm just, hey, I'm A-OK. I'm feeling so good. I'm feeling top of the world. Again, though, in my mind, I got to get bottles. Now, again, look at this course. The promoter,
I guess you just have to be prepared to die.
he's just putting you in situations where you got to just send it. And again, this is where, my bike, obviously this setup, this is the downside to it. But I still think that it did really well, to be honest. It was bumpy, it was rough, but it wasn't anything too crazy. I did this on a road bike with 33s. It's not that bad. So sector 3, the more of this, please. Great pavement and some really fast road, but I'm out of calories. So then this guy actually gave me one of his bottles.
Hey, massive legend here.
Without this dude giving me one of his bottles, and he also gave me a gel, I would be dead. I'd be dead out there on the road.
You got it.
Okay. What?
Right? Oh, come on. You can ride it or you can walk it. It's the same price.
Dude, what?
Loser! You're a loser! Are you feeling sorry for yourself? Well, you should be, because you are dirt!
I'm on a bike.
I should have rode that, but I was so worried that I was just going to go head over heels. But then we hit this like tasty dirt waves. I mean, we were surfing. We're rolling through these like peach orchards, orange orchards, great dirt, weather's perfect. We're, I don't know, almost halfway, right? And I can see the map. I can see that we got a big climb coming up. I really, really need calories though. And so we do come to this rest stop, and my only gripe about the event is, and this is how all events are, to be honest, the hydration is a very low quality. The food is a very low quality. It's sort of like the bargain bin at Costco. This little baby though, killing it, passing out stuff, great for the baby. But goos, I mean, it's like you're drinking cement, and the fluid stuff was not very good. Doesn't matter. I do have some calories. Let's go. Sector 4 is where I brought the right bike. This is where I was going to make up all my time and get away or make a move, you know, at any point. And so this downhill, death to the right, flats everywhere. And that's a video I want to talk about because I've never flatted in a gravel race, ever. Not once. Not one impossible route, not one unbound, not one BWR, not one flat. And it comes from the way that I ride. So I'll talk about that at some point. But this guy actually took a freaking digger. I didn't get it on GoPro, but he crashed pretty gnarly. I was actually really surprised to see him pop back up. So then we hit this absolute massive climb. And this is exactly where my bike is going to shine. Because it's not very technical. It's extremely steep. But if you look at the times, I mean, on a road where I felt like I was doing the best I've ever done, Peter Stetten is 7 minutes faster than me. So if I wanted to get top 10, I don't even... I'm on like the fastest bike I can be, the lightest bike I can be. I've got the best fitness, and I'm still not even in the category of the top 10 guys. So let's break down the bikes though a little bit, because you got options. So personally, road bike, gravel bike, mountain bike, I chose a road bike. It's super light, okay? The speed is like high, it's very efficient, but the handling is bad. The gravel bike is going to be right down the middle, right? It weighs a little more, it's not as fast, but it's got pretty good handling. Then your mountain bike is going to weigh the most. It's not going to be as fast, but the downhills, you'll be absolutely flying. So it really depends on who you are as a rider and what your skill sets are. And since my skill set here was more fitness based, and I don't really have the downhill skills anyways to get the most out of a mountain bike, plus I don't ever really ride it. I don't really ever ride my mountain bike. I was really happy with my choice of road bike. I don't think I would have gone any faster otherwise. Now we had a solid group. Me, these two guys. There was Mariah was with us. She was the winner of the women's category, and I think two other guys bridged to us. But so we were all best friends, having a good time. I'm feeling great about myself. But to this point of the day, I'm actually starting to really have the effects of not fueling when I needed to. Right, my 2 bottles that yeeted out of my bike. That is catching up to me at this point, and I'm starting to really hurt. Now, in times past, I have just buried myself until I can't even pedal anymore, and I probably would have done that. But right here, this really steep section, I was in the wrong gear, and I kind of slipped. I don't think I dropped my chain, but...
Fuck. God damn it.
It was all over from there. You know, I was like getting ready to climb super hard, and I was in my 46, and then I went to pedal and it just spun out. I lost my momentum. Doesn't really matter because I was on the verge of exploding into pieces anyways. And so then I kind of just rolled around in no man's land, you know, and I wanted this year to be a little bit different. I didn't want to get so frustrated with myself. It's really early in the year, right? It's February. I'm really happy with where my fitness is and how I was riding. I just was frustrated a little bit with maybe wasting an opportunity at top 10, but you know, you never know. Now, Sector 6 had some of the steepest hike-a-bike sections I've ever seen. I mean, just bananas. Now, we are catching... So there's 2 distances. There's like the 90 mile and then maybe like a 60 mile. And they all kind of loop back. And so all of these people on this hill were, you know, not there. It sounds douchey to say they're not in front of me, but they're not in front of me. They're on the different course. And so I actually see my boy Tomas here, who's like a track sprinter. All these people here, you know, they are like, what did we get ourselves into? But I love this. I loved this course so very much because there was so many different aspects to where it wasn't just, are you the fittest guy in a TT position, period. You know, there was so many dynamics to this course on you as a rider, like being able to, one, be fast on climbs, but also good on descents, handling the technical stuff. I just thought, to me, the course raced so well. And even though I'm kind of having a small pity party and I was kind of bummed about where I'm going to finish versus where I wanted to finish, I'm still having a blast. And that's rare in a gravel event, to have fun at the end of the event. But I'm still having a great time. Now, this guy, maybe not so much, you know, legs tired after hiking, and kind of caught this little section and just fell over.
All right. Wrong gear, I couldn't stop.
We hit this final hike-a-bike section of the day. It's so long, you can see just how many people are walking their bikes, right? This thing's brutal.
Jesus. What in the world? What in the world is this? What in the world? Yeah, the trick is to definitely carry your bike. Oh man. How's it going, buddy? Having fun yet?
So much fun.
This course was so amazing because you're hating your life one second and then you're shredding some tasty dirt waves the next.
Things look kind of rough out there today.
Well, I'll tell you, Stu, I did battle some humongous waves.
So last little climb of the day, and again, you're catching people that were doing the smaller course that kind of looped in onto this one. So we're all sort of riding back together. This guy was in my division. Me and him kind of rode in together, both hurting, right? We're just kind of having pity parties together. We catch up with Ashton Lambie, who... Bro, his quads are so big you can see the front side of his quad from the back side of him. right? He has the 4K track record, I believe, world record holder is what I'm saying. So there's the leaderboard. I finished 26th. You know, really the last 2 hours of the ride, I was just kind of noodling around. But I'm happy with that. You know, in times past I wasn't, but I'm stoked.
Fuck.
It was fun.
How did you finish?
I did win, actually.
Okay.
So Blevins was on his dually mountain bike with gravel tires, and he would put a minute into us the whole first half on every downhill, but it was so far out. Luckily, got more pedally, and I gotta use my big gears.
Right on, man. Congratulations.
Thanks.
So what do you think about gravel racing? This is your first gravel race ever.
It's freaking insane, man. That was fun, but that was insane. Like, there were some sections there where like people were just hauling, and I was just like grinding it because it's gnarly. It's a whole different world, but it's fun. Like, I love the technical part.
Top one thing that you're like, next time this is going to be different.
More watts. I think I might go camelback next year. I'm not sure. I don't know if I want to carry it, and there were enough water stops that I always had water. So if it weren't for like the extra people at the interim water stops, it'd have been bad. But there was water intermittently, and that worked out. So that was risky, I think, to not have the camelback.
So then how does your training work when you've got to work so much on this high-end short power?
Yeah.
And then you do a 6-hour ride?
Well, so this is the first season like I'm really focusing just on gravel. The last few years, like I've done gravel races. I either did them off of track season or I did like the shorter ones. So like I did the Rift in Iceland a month before the world record in Mexico, but I only did the 100K, and I'm doing 1 minute efforts like the day before. So it's really just like my long ride for the week.
Okay, so tell me about this bull.
A guy had just passed me as we came through that little slot canyon thing, and then I came around this corner, and there's guys up on the hill, and there's a bull on the left, and
I start hearing, yo, there's a bull up there charging. So we start like stopping and then like getting up on the side to get away from it.
The bull takes an about turn and goes charging after the guy, and head down, tossed him up in the air like a rag doll.
Dude gets up, bull hits him again. And I'm like, I'm out.
Hello, yesterday's 2022 Rock Cobbler bull ride, I was that guy. Just want to give an explanation of my point of view. I was riding along some super tight technical single track, charging up, came to a Y in the trail. There was a large group of people I was rolling up to on the right and just a handful on the left, so I opted to go left. I did hear everybody yelling, but I wasn't really paying attention to what they were saying. I was kind of in my own world and everything looked good. Rolled up over a hill, saw the bull. He was facing away, kind of walking away from the trail. And I got to say, where I ride, there's a lot of open ranges, so it's normal to ride amongst cattle, come within just a couple feet of them all the time. And so I thought I'd just sneak on by. He spun around at the last minute and knocked me down. Then kind of scooped me up and gave me a toss. As you can see at the end of the clip, I popped right up, ran towards my bike, picked it up, remounted, and rode off. Actually had a great result. Just wanted to put that out there. Hope you all had a good ride yourselves.
Oh!
So in closing, we're going to rate the event, and look, everyone's different. Everyone's objectives are different, and how they're going to see an event is different. So I try to do this really unbiased, but I'll say flat out, the course, this was my favorite course I've ever raced in a gravel race. It was so dynamic. There was always something that was challenging, but it wasn't too much. Anyone could complete this with the right mindset, and pretty much on any bike. Whatever bike you brought, it was the right bike at some turn. Now for the event, I'd never thought about this before, but parking was really good. It was really amazing. I get to like park like on the start finish line. It was great. Now the food, look, I'm an annoying Vigo, so take it for a grain of salt, but it wasn't the best thing. It's not something that I would say that this event was known for. With that being said, I would say this is an 8.5. I would say it is a must do at least once. It's very challenging. and it's very fun. It's beautiful. It's easy to get to. I think across the board, it's definitely something you should put on your calendar. So anyways, I appreciate you. Thanks for sticking around, even though I haven't uploaded in a long time. We'll move on to next videos. And as always, thanks for watching. Yeah.